Mandala Stones is a game for 2 to 4 players with a playtime of about 30 minutes, designed by Philip Govach and published by Board&Dice. Mandala Stones is a game of tranquility and beauty. During the game, you will be moving the artist in order to collect stones, placing those on your player board in order to score victory points. On your turn, you have two options. You can choose to either pick or to score. When you decide to take the pick action, you will be moving one of the 4 artists to a different location on the main board. After moving the artist, you will look at the stones that surround the artist, and you'll be able to pick all the stones which share the same pattern as the artist, but which are not adjacent to another artist, regardless of the pattern of that artist. Once you have decided and identified which stones you're able to take, you'll be placing them onto one of the 5 spaces on your player board. The space that you choose to place them matters because each space comes with its own scoring rule that will affect the victory points that you will gain when you take the score action. When taking the score action, you have 2 options. Most of the time you will score by color, which means that you will identify at least 2 towers that share the same top stone. In my case here, I have 3 towers that have a pink top stone and just a single tower that has a yellow top stone. That means that my only choice here is to score the pink stones. After you have identified the color of stone that you will score all the towers that have that color top stone from left to right. Each tower depicts its own scoring rule that will be used to evaluate how many points you will score for that particular tower. This first tower will score victory points based on the different heights among all your towers, whether they have the current the same color top stone or not. That means that even this yellow and the one with no stones in it, those towers would also be evaluated. The 3 middle towers, they will score based on the current height of that tower. The leftmost tower will score more victory points for being a lower height. The middle one will score more victory points for being a medium height, and the rightmost one will score more victory points for being a higher tower. The final tower will score victory points based on the number of different color stones in that tower, +1. In this particular case, as I look at my player board and I'm scoring the pink towers, this first tower will score me a total of 4 victory points because I have 4 different heights among my towers. I have a single stone in this tower, I have 2 stones in the second tower, I have 3 stones in the middle tower, no stones here, and then 2 stones again in the last tower. That means that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different heights because again, 0 counts. So I would score 4 victory points. I will skip the second tower because that one does not have a pink top stone. This middle tower will again score based on the current height. In this case, 4 victory points for having a height of 3 stones. The last tower scores based on the number of different colors in this tower. In this case, I have 2 colors +1 for a total of 3 victory points. After you have scored your towers, you will be collecting the top stones and you will be placing them on the mandala board in the middle of the table. Now, as you can see, there are a couple of different spaces here that show +1 or +2. If, when you're scoring, you're placing one of your stones so that it covers one of the +1 or +2 spots, you'll be scoring additional bonus victory points that way. The other spaces, depicting 2, 3, or 4 hands, are used to determine when the end of the game is triggered. But before I talk about the end of the game, I want to tell you about the second option for scoring. You always have the option of scoring any number of stones, regardless of color, but then you only score 1 point each. Let's say that this is my current player board. Obviously, I would be able to choose to score blue because I have at least 2 towers that share the same color top stone. But as you can see underneath, I have more blue stones and I would much rather wait until those are revealed in order to have a more powerful scoring by being able to score 4 towers at the same time. By choosing to score any top stones, I can simply score these 2 stones, not getting the points from the towers, but just scoring 1 victory point each. and thereby setting myself up for a much more powerful scoring on a future turn. Once a stone is placed so that it covers the symbol that depicts the same number of hands as the current number of players, that will trigger the end of the game. The players will finish the current round and then proceed to final scoring. At the beginning of the game, each player was dealt 2 objective cards. At the end of the game, after final scoring has been triggered, each player will be able to score 1 of those objective cards. Most often, they require that you have some number of stones remaining on your player board, or that you have a certain pattern of stones remaining, or a certain minimum number of color left on your player board. The player with the most number of victory points at the end is the winner. Mandala Stones features a simple rule set and easy to understand actions. On your turn, you simply choose to either pick or score. The game is excellent for introducing new players to the hobby, for playing with casual gamers, or as a lighter game in between heavier games on your game night.